and lawyer John Carpe denounced the act known as Bill C-63, stating that if passed, it would give the Canadian Human Rights Commission the power to prosecute Canadians for non-criminal hate speech.
The Online Harms Act is the most serious threat to free expression in Canada in generations. This terrible federal legislation, Bill C-63, would empower the Canadian Human Rights Commission to prosecute Canadians over non-criminal hate speech. You can be subjected to an order to pay the federal government $50,000 or $20,000 to a complainant. Complaints can be anonymous, and you can be found guilty on the basis of bureaucrats' subjective assessment of what he deems to be hateful. The Online Harms Act would create a digital safety commission, which would have the power to enforce censorship regulations passed by the federal cabinet without any input from Parliament. The legislation would also create a new criminal code provision that would make it possible for a judge to place you under house arrest, respect to curfew, wearing ankle bracelets, based on what you might say in future if somebody fears that you're going to say something hateful in the future. The legislation also increases the penalty for advocating for genocide from maximum 5 years in jail to life in prison. Contrast life in prison for advocating for genocide with 14 years maximum penalty for sexually assaulting child. Government's got its priorities wrong. The bill seeks to prevent harms that are already prohibited by the criminal code. And the bill seems to ignore the fact that it's the responsibility of parents, not the government, to protect their children from online harms. It's up to parents to not give their kids unrestricted, unlimited, unsupervised access to the internet. So the Justice Centre is delivering to the Prime Minister's office today 55,500 signatures against the Online Harms Act. Please contact your member of Parliament and urge him or her to vote against Bill C-63. And please sign our petition at www.jccf.ca. Thank you.
The Trudeau government has stated that Bill C-63 was created with the intent of combating online hate and protecting children from accessing adult content online. Trudeau has asserted that the bill is very specifically focused on protecting kids and not on censoring the internet. However, beyond the provisions aimed at safeguarding children from pornography, the bill also expands the definition of hate speech and increases the penalties for those found guilty of it. According to the bill, individuals who express hate speech could face fines up to $20,000 and potentially pay a penalty of not more than $50,000 to the Receiver General if the member or panel considers it appropriate. Furthermore, the text of Trudeau's government's bill allows for hate speech complaints to be filed anonymously to the Canadian Human Rights Commission. Another aspect of the bill draws parallels to the 2002 film Minority Report, as it includes provisions that could lead to citizens being placed under house arrest if a person fears on reasonable grounds that another person will commit an offense. In other words, you could be prosecuted for a crime you haven't committed.